evening, good night. Welcome to the show, what a wonderful delight. Yeah, Potsy and T.Ross better chop up on the mic. Just sit back, have a laugh, catch a vibe, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
What is up, man? We are back with another episode. Today's a big day in the sports world. I mean, obviously, this will probably come out in the next. Well, the fights will already have happened, but
but this is leading up to it. It's the pre-fight.
Yeah,
the pre-show fight.
The pre-show fight, even though it'll be the after
pre-fight show.
It'll be the pre-fight show that's after the fight show.
Yeah. So we're talking about it.
Who do you take into the fight?
So if you guys don't know, we're talking about the UFC 270. Is it 271, 270? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But
Francis
it's just
Ngannou versus Cyril Gane for the heavyweight championship of the world. It's going to be an amazing fight. We also have the trilogy between Davison Figueroa, whatever his name is, and then Brandon Moreno, which is going to be absolutely.
It should be great.
That's going to be good. I got my money's on Moreno. I don't know.
You taking Moreno?
I don't know.
He kind of dominated. He kind of dominated.
Yeah, but that was just because it was all like on the ground shit. He got him to the ground. That was in his wheelhouse. If Figueroa could like stay on his feet, it could be going to a fourth fight. But no, bro, this heavyweight is. I'm waiting. This is what I've been waiting for so long. Like two talented heavyweights.
Yeah, like when's the last big UFC heavyweight fight? I don't.
Francis versus Stipe.
Yeah, and
this is Francis' first fight since Stipe. His first title.
But I'm saying like that was like a big fight, but I don't know.
I mean, Tui Tuivasa has fought a few times. He's really fun.
But those aren't like big though. This is like big.
No, Derek Lewis. This is arguably one of the biggest fights of like all time. And I know we say that every other fight, but like it's just,
it does feel like it does feel like it has that, especially with Francis, like where he's kind of going. It's like if he wins, it's to the moon. If he loses,
it's to the moon. It's like it's gonna be.
If he loses, like to see another
fight because I don't even know what heavyweight would be next. But Francis.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking in this?
Game tactical. I'm taking Gane.
Yeah.
Gane. I gotta say Gane. His name's Gane.
Yeah.
I'm taking Cyril Gane. He's just his toolbox is just too deep. It's too deep for Francis. Francis has like Thor-like power. Like he'll punch a hole through your chest. But that's how all his fights end. And it's easy to say that, hey, he's gonna do it again. But if he gets somebody that's as tactical, and you gotta mind you, Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou were former teammates. They've had a few camps together where they trained. So these guys are familiar with each other. But I just think that with Francis, like he's made improvement, yes, but like how much improvement is he going to make to where he's going to be able to deal with everything that Gane's thrown at him? Because he has a lot of power. And the biggest thing too is like he's a big guy. Like all that muscle, you're going to need a lot of oxygen. So we're going to see if he has the tank to go longer than 2 or 3 rounds. And if he does get past 3 rounds, it's like it could be a new fight for him. Like I don't know. Like but Cyril Gane, he does it all, man. Muay Thai, stand up, jiu-jitsu.
He's a beast, bro. They're both beasts. It's ridiculous.
And that's what I'm saying. They're both 6'4". Francis is 260. Cyril Gane is 245.
Jack.
So these guys are. It's gonna be I don't even know if it's gonna be a slugfest, but it's gonna be a very entertaining fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so like that tends to happen with things where we build up this hype of like, oh, it's gonna be a slugfest, but then these guys are also smart and tactical. So it's like, they don't want to get, He doesn't get hit by Francis Ngannou.
No, for sure. And did you hear about like that whole thing when Francis? They said they were sparring and he knocked.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he knocked out or knocked down Cyril Gane with the left leg kick to the head. Yeah. But if that is true. I mean, I get it. Who knows? It could have been like a blind leg kick and it just happened to land. But that's true. That adds a different characteristic to this fight because now you're going to know that, hey, like there's going to be some respect behind that power because Cyril's like, okay, he got me once, never again.
Speaking of that, did you say? I think you might have sent me that video of Cyril Gane kicking his trainer.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, He's like,
kicked him in the leg, bro.
Are you serious? He's like,
Yeah, no,
no more leg
he's a big
kicks.
dude. He's a big dude.
Dude,
And there was one, I seen another one.
Yeah,
he kicked him. He was like, "Okay, I'm hurt, but I'm okay. I'm okay." And then the next time they were sparring, he kicked him again, and then he fucking said, "Fuck that," and it's kind of tried to like take him to the ground. He was hitting him in the face with the pads and all shit. I was like, "Yeah," but yeah, two big motherfuckers, man. It's gonna be a great fight. Great fight.
Yeah, man.
And we got football. Football's this week too.
Yeah, actually,
the football. It's a game tonight. The Niners.
There's two right now. The Bengals are about to play the Titans, and then we got the Niners, Packers, and then we also got two games tomorrow. Buccaneers, your Buccaneers
versus the Rams, which I'm terrified for right now.
I know everyone's saying the Rams can beat them, and then we got the
they absolutely
Chiefs,
can. I went to
Chiefs,
the game.
Bills. There's some good games.
Bills are gonna win.
Josh Allen, Bills Mafia.
They're different, bro. Their defense is legit.
Shout out to Rachel Bush.
Yikes.
Do you even know who that is?
No, I don't. Is it Reggie Bush?
No, that's Poirier, or the DB that came out that he had he was dealing with he was alcoholic. Did you see all that in the Player Tribune?
No, I didn't see none of it. You're gonna have to give me
Yeah. He came out talking about he's an alcoholic. And now he's like been sober. He's like the captain of the defense for the Bills. But
nice.
His girl's name is Rachel Bush, and she's an Instagram model. I thought maybe you'd seen her around.
Rachel Bush.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. There's the other thing I want to talk about that I actually had pulled up was did you see what I sent you about the China and the artificial sun?
Yeah, the Arctic Reactor.
Yeah, I just sent it to you again. It's crazy. If you guys haven't seen this, if you're listening or watching, go check it out. They've made an artificial sun that's 5 times more powerful than the real sun.
Like, I get it. There's a lot of people in China, but do they need that much sun? Like, what was the just to see that they could do it? Like,
dude, it's crazy though. What was
the reasoning behind it though?
I don't know. I like
they just said, hey, tune in tomorrow at 5:00 while we launch our new artificial sun. Don't miss it. And then everybody just shows up. Or like, I just don't know.
It maintained a temperature of 158 million degrees Fahrenheit for 1,000 seconds. It was $1 trillion. What is China trying to do?
They're trying to send that bitch to our front door. Get that shit fucking airbound and fucking launch it with a slingshot. It's gonna land right in Texas and everything's gonna blow up here. I hope not. But
this video is insane. Like
where are you launching it from?
Yeah, what is that out of?
How do you get it into the air? It's not. It can't be just like.
It's funny because we got this going on in China, and then North Korea, Kim Jong-un can't even launch a missile like 30 miles, and they're still trying to figure out how to launch a missile that are landing in the ocean. Like, they got a sun over here.
They are a whole separate sun. Like, but for 1,000 seconds, we need more information. We need a science. We need somebody from the Chinese government to come over here and explain to us
what they're doing.
Everything. Yeah. What's happening over there? Because we're not getting it. Like 2 suns at one time? Like, come on, bro.
What's going on? Are they building their own dome over there? I don't know. Are they gonna have an artificial sun inside of a dome?
Are they gonna put a dome over all of China and then put the sun in there? Like, we don't need anything else from the outside world. We are self-sufficient.
We got clouds. They can make clouds. Yeah. They got everything.
The wall didn't work. Throw the dome up. Put the sun up, and we'll live for 1,000 years.
Oh man. Well, that's crazy. But let's we'll hop into this interview with Jake from offense or from the equipment manager for Orlando Magic. He's awesome. You guys will enjoy it, and we will see you guys later.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, let's welcome to the show. We have Jacob Diamond on from the Orlando Magic. Takes care of Terrence. I get that's what I hear from Terrence. Is this true? Is Terrence a hassle though?
He's one of the most high maintenance people I've ever met in my entire life.
From day one, baby.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah, man.
Me and Jake got to kind of like the Magic at the same time. You were telling what you were saying
really?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, just about. So you got traded there during 16, 17, I think.
Yeah, 17. Like February.
Yeah. I started fall of 17. So my first year with the Magic was 2017, 18. I see we got a cat in the background.
Oh my God. Get out of there. So gross. It's a stray that ended up on his door, and then he took it in, and it's so weird.
A family cat.
It's so weird.
So you came in the same time Terrence came in, or you were there the start of that season, right?
I came in. Terrence was there a half a season before me. You came in at the trade deadline the season before. I started. Yeah, I started the fall after.
And before this, you were the equipment manager with who?
So I was an assistant with the Miami Heat for 3 years. Originally, though, my start in sports was with baseball. I worked for the Marlins from when I was 16 years old and spent 11 years there. Got in at an early age, just paid my dues in baseball, and then eventually started wanting to get into basketball. So I reached out to the Heat. It was actually right after LeBron left, so I guess there was a few openings there. So I got in at the right time, and the equipment manager for the Heat kind of took me under his wing, and he put me in the visitors' locker room, taking care of the visiting teams, which kind of allowed me to network, meet people, and the rest was history.
That's crazy. So you said at 16. Like
16.
Yeah, like so what
Jake is one of the biggest sports fans I know, bro. Like literally he's a diehard. I mean, bro, you're a diehard sports fan, but you were diehard Miami kid.
I'm a like maybe a sports lifer in the making. I got a while to go before I get that tag, but I grew up in Miami. Growing up, big baseball fan, big Miami Dolphins fan to this day. Don't laugh. That's where my ultimate fandom passion is with the Miami Dolphins. Fins up. But yeah, no, I got in when I was in high school with the Marlins. I used to go to Marlins games as a kid. And then when I was like 13, 14 years old, I used to see the ball boy on the field warming up in right field with Miguel Cabrera in between innings. And I'd be at the games with my dad, and I'd look at him and I'd be like, Dad, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be on the field. I want to put on the uniform. So I went to a spring training game on like my 14th birthday, and I'm standing outside the players' parking lot, like leaned up against the fence, and I see the owner of the Marlins walking by. And I shout to him, I said, "Hey, Mr. Loria, how do I become a bat boy?" And he turns over his shoulder. He looks at me and he says, "Contact John Silverman, who was the equipment manager for the Marlins, who still is to this day."
Wow.
So he gave me a name. I contacted the team. They said, "You have to be 16 to work here." So I wait another year or 2 years, contact the team again, tell them the story of what I did that day. And I guess they were looking for a bat boy at the time.
Wow.
And so they got back to me. They gave me an interview. I actually went to the interview. I drove to the interview with my driver's permit. I didn't have my license yet. I was still 15. And my parents couldn't take me. The only person that could sit in the passenger seat and go with me was my grandpa.
Nice.
So I went to the interview. Yeah, took him to the interview. And they hired me, like right before I turned 16.
Wow.
And just kind of worked my way up from bat boy to clubhouse attendant. Just grew up in the clubhouse. That was my life. That was,
a lot of chewing sunflower seeds and some gum, huh?
Oh yeah. All the good like clubhouse pastimes. It was fun.
All right. So when you were at the Marlins, who were some of the bigger names that you got to see in the clubhouse?
So my first year was 2007. It was the last year of Miguel Cabrera and Dontrell Willis.
Oh, Dontrell.
Dontrell is great. We still keep in touch. At the end of that season, they get traded to Detroit, and so like the next few years, I don't know if the names that would kind of pop into my head. You recognize them just because we were a small market team, but we had a lot of people come through there. I mean, towards the end of my time there, like the Marlins, had we had some better pitching, I think we would have like contended. I mean, we had great players like Giancarlo Stanton, saw him come up as a rookie.
Crazy.
Christian Yelich, both guys we drafted.
Yelich,
Jose Fernandez, rest in peace. You even had as our hitting coach one year, Barry Bonds.
Bro,
Barry. We had Barry Bonds. 1 year as a hitting coach. And we had Ichiro Suzuki for 3 years. 3 or 4 years we had Ichiro.
Two of the best hitters, I mean, obviously ever in baseball.
Yeah,
like,
and you were telling me that you even went to Japan with Ichiro.
Yeah, so we actually, myself and a couple of my best friends who I worked in the clubhouse with, we kind of just made a connection with Ichiro and his interpreter. And Ichiro spoke fluent English. I mean, he spoke fluent Spanish too. Like, the guy is insane.
Wow.
But we just formed a connection with Ichiro, with his interpreter, and they kind of just said, hey, you guys want to come out in the off season, come out to Japan, spend a few days with us. So we actually did that 2 years in a row, where we just flew out, met up with him in Kobe, which is kind of close to Osaka. Spent a few days like going to, basically all off season he works out at the stadium he used to play at. We go and run the field with him, hit batting practice, throw some baseballs around, warm up with it, just work out with him, and then have dinner with him. We did that for a few nights, and then the rest of the trip was just us kind of touring Japan. We spent 10 days there, hopped on a bullet train, went city to city.
Wow. So someone like him. So I'm from Seattle. Was a big Mariners fan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being around someone like that, that's obviously one of the greatest hitters. Is it just it must have just been surreal to watch him just do these workouts and hit the ball? That guy did not miss. He made contact all the time. It's
he
crazy.
did, and he's still playing to this day. I mean, he's back in Japan. I think he splits time between Japan and Seattle. But I don't know how long his Major League Baseball career was. 20 years. Yeah.
23 years.
Yeah. So even at the end of his career, when he was with us, he was just a machine every day, creature of habit, same routine every day. Never lifted weights, his entire career. His workouts were basically stretching.
We used to watch him stretch. I go to the game.
The
game early, and we see Ichiro doing all these different stretches, and people would make fun of him, and that's the Lowe's commercials that we had out in Seattle, where
that's the key. That's probably the key to everything.
When we signed him, there was a group of a half a dozen Japanese guys that came over from Japan, and they were just in town to receive his workout equipment. So there was a section of our weight room that was just designated for Ichiro. And if you walked in here, it was just all Pilates machines. So before the game, he'd come in, he'd do his stretching, and then he'd just be doing like this stuff right here. That was his stuff like that.
Every day.
And and just but the guy could hit like nobody else, throw harder than no one else. If you look at highlight videos of him making throws from right field, just
unbelievable.
The GOAT.
Give us a little story about Barry Bonds then, obviously, if you're around Barry Bonds. Give us a good one of Barry.
So I don't really have a good story about Barry. He was kind of in his own world, as you would expect.
I expected that.
Spring training. This is the only thing that pops out in my head was he was just super concerned about the way that we hung items in his locker, the way a t-shirt was hung, the way the hanger pointed to the right instead of the left.
What? Barry.
And he might have thrown a fit here and there about that at the beginning, and then other than that, our interactions were pretty minimal. He was just kind of there. It was kind of strange that he was there. I think it was strange for him too.
And he was a hitting coach.
He was a hitting coach. But it was funny, he didn't love being in the cage all day.
Hitting,
I think he wanted to, I guess maybe kind of revitalize his career a little bit. I shouldn't speak badly about him. He wanted to work with the players. I just don't think he knew what he was getting into as a coach.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's Gerald Green. Gerald Green did the same thing. He was coaching for a little bit. It was fuck this. I'm going back to G. I'm trying to make one last stand. I get it.
Yeah, you're used to what you do for 20 years. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Sure.
Okay, so how long? And so you said you were doing that from 07 to pretty much 16.
07 to 2017. So it was 11 seasons.
Jeez, bro.
Spring training, 2 months, living in Jupiter, Florida, sleeping on couches and working like 15-hour days with like, you think training camp, like, I don't think anybody thinks training camp's really that tough in the NBA, but training camp in baseball, spring training is 2 months. You have, and I'm speaking on behalf of equipment guys, like pitchers, they're out at noon playing golf.
Yeah.
Equipment guys are there from like Valentine's Day to the end of March, like maybe 2-3 off days over the course of that time. And just all day, like 7 a.m. to before you start cutting guys, because you open camp with like 80 players. Jeez. Eventually you narrow that down to 25, but you're there all day. So I spent 11 years. We used to play at the stadium where the Dolphins play. So I experienced the transition to the new stadium. Basically the year I left, when I got the job with Orlando, was the year that the team was sold to Derek Jeter. So the day I left, my last day on the job, Derek Jeter came in for his press conference. Wow. So it's kind of like a perfect ending, honestly, just to like be walking out the door. And at the end of that season, they kind of started trading everybody, Stanton, Yelich, Real Muto, like kind of like made a lot of changes. So it was kind of like the right time to step out.
What so you said you worked in like the opposing clubhouse as well?
I only worked in the home clubhouse. I was I was a visiting locker room guy for the Heat, but during my 11 years with the Marlins, I was just in the home clubhouse.
So what do you have anything else like as your time at the Marlins where any crazy interactions with athletes or baseball players?
Were you there when Giancarlo got hit in the face with the ball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that happened on the road. That happened in Milwaukee. I didn't travel with the team. But I remember that night when the team came back and we opened up all the dirty laundry to wash it. There was his bloody jersey. We were. That was an interesting time. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else of that time period, but it was an interesting like transition through the years. Kind of like going through my high school years there, through my college years there, like sleeping in the clubhouse, getting up and like sometimes driving straight from the stadium to high school, like depending on late night after a like rain delays and stuff through the night. You'd end a baseball game at 2 a.m, or maybe not that late, but you'd be washing laundry all night, drive straight to school.
I ask you this all the time. I'm like, what's the latest you've gotten, or what's the earliest you've gotten to the stadium and then left? And you were telling me like, yeah, bro, it was like a couple nights out. I just stayed. We stayed in there all the time.
Oh yeah,
we back to backs, I think.
We used to sleep in the clubhouse. Like the guys that still work there, if it's like a night game on a Saturday night, day game on a Sunday, you might as well just sleep in the clubhouse because you're gonna be there working all night.
Is the clubhouse nice though? At least you get like a nice couch, right?
Oh yeah.
Table. What do they got?
Nice, comfortable couches.
Popcorn.
All the food you want.
Gatorade, protein shakes.
You guys weren't trying to leave.
Hop in the it's like fantasy camp.
Big league shoe. You get the big league shoe.
Hop in the jacuzzi. Hop in the cold tub. little contrast.
So working with the Magic, you don't like. I know because I noticed being around for so long. I noticed that you guys are there very early and you guys are there very late. I don't know as late as baseball, but like I know there's some nights, bro, where I'm always asking you like, Jake, what time you get to the arena? And you'd be like, oh, I got here at like noon. I was like, okay, what time you need tonight? You're like, maybe 11 or midnight. I'm just like, dog.
Yeah, it's a long day, but honestly, like what you experience in baseball as an equipment guy, I don't think, like basketball. I mean, we put in long hours, especially on the road when you're going like city to city. You might have a game, in New York, and then you're traveling to Chicago right after the game. So you're there, you're doing your prep all morning, getting to the arena, setting up at Madison Square Garden before the team gets there. You do the game, you load up the plane, get to the next city. Sometimes after you drop off the luggage at the hotel, take the equipment straight to the arena, go set up in that locker room. So I think there's probably later nights on the road, long days at home.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it sucks, bro. Because even I'm telling you, I'll text you when I usually land like from a trip, and you be like, because there's a time difference between me and Steven. He's in Washington, I'm out here in Florida. So like if we land at like 2, it's usually like 11. So he's sometimes up. So he'll sometimes like hit me, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like it's for you. Sometimes it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning. For me, it's 4, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still up. I just got to the house, and I know that if I'm up at 4, then Jake is probably like halfway to the arena, and then probably dropping stuff off, and then going home like every single night. I'm just like, the thing with can you do it?
The thing with playing like if you're working for Orlando or Miami or really like a lot of East Coast teams, you just get in late, super late because you're always losing, 2-3 hours when you're coming from the West and or even when you come from the East. I mean, they're long flights being in Florida. So us in Miami, and of course, I mean, Portland gains time. They have long flights, but like us in Miami, we have the latest arrivals. We don't really have arrivals before 2 a.m. Like I feel like
barely. Yeah, and it's so funny because like now that I'm realizing that's probably why we have so many off days, is because I know there's a rule. If you land in a city past 2 a.m., then you can't do anything the next day. So like for us, we've had probably the hardest traveling season you've had, because we're literally gone like all the time. It's like a long time we've been here so far.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day. It was like 27 of, and I might be wrong on this, but it was like 27 of the first like 44 games of the season we've played on the road.
Yeah.
Which I think they said like dating back to 1970 something. It's like the most road games to start the year.
Yeah.
In like 40 plus years, I guess 50 years.
And I know that, like, bro, I thought before I heard that stat, like I thought that maybe it was just all in my head that we were traveling too much. Yeah. But now that I'm realizing, it's like, okay, this really isn't normal. Like,
you realize, once you hear that stat, you're like, okay, this makes sense. This is like, this is why I don't remember where anything is in my house. And like,
for sure.
I get home, my wife's like, where have you been? And my son's looking at me like, where have you been? Yeah, I'm looking at him like, where did that hair come from? Like, why are you bigger now?
And especially because Jake has a newborn, so like how old is your son now?
He's actually 9 months. 9 months today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So between like from ages like 0 to like 3, they change so much. So even being gone for like 4 or 5 days, you're gonna notice so much more.
Yeah,
like, that's the biggest thing. Even my kids are like stretching out a lot, and I'm not even realizing how much time.
I was gone 2 weeks for summer league in Vegas, and I came home and he had a full head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I got a question. I got a question though about okay, so you've worked with baseball players, you've worked with basketball players. Talk to me about the different aspects and like who's better to work with, baseball players or basketball players? Like who's more high maintenance?
So I used to think basketball players were going to be more high maintenance because they didn't have like the minor league system to grind through to get to the major leagues.
They're just handing everything. Is that what you're saying? You're saying
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because people have been telling Terrence he's the best since he was 10 years old.
We were telling him he was good.
I know. Well, he was. But like, I feel like I've worked with more high maintenance guys in baseball than I have in basketball thus far. Maybe I've been lucky with like working with easygoing people. Like I'm trying to think of the last few years, the guys that we've had in our locker room, the most high maintenance guys really weren't really that high maintenance, and the things that they might have been.
Yeah.
It was maybe like little things, but I personally, like, I'm super like anal and like OCD about a lot of stuff that like, maybe I just don't notice the high maintenance because I'm like high maintenance with what I do.
Or
honestly, bro, you're not like, because I've had Sid. Sid is like, he was super chill and he already knew, he's like, I'm not doing this for too much longer. But when I was in Toronto, we had our equipment manager. His name was Paul Elliott. It's like, that's my guy. I love Paul. Yeah. My first 2 years, I was like so afraid to ask Paul for anything because, like, first of all, he just has that face where he just like has that natural, like, just not frown to him, but he just has like that scowl to him where he's just kind of like, oh God, I don't want to ask him for like an extra arm sleeve. And I'll never forget, like, one of the times I think a player had asked him, like, for they had asked him for, like, an arm sleeve or, like, some shoes or something. He got so mad because I guess he had just get this guy's shoes, like, the day before or something, the day before the guy kept losing it. So, like, ever since then, bro, like, like, I was always trying to, like, be, like, super easygoing. I was like, I'm not going to ask for much because, like, even now, like, when I ask you for sleeves, this is the most sleeves I've ever asked for in my life. Like, I would have sleeves for months with Paulie because they'd be bloodied up and everything. And I'm just like, okay, Paulie, they're beat the fuck up. I need some new ones. He's like, but it's cool. Like, but the best person to have the relationship on the team is usually the equipment guy because you guys see everything, you hear everything, everybody's coming for all types of things. And that's why I think I was so close to Sid because Sid, he has the best stories and he's been here since like Shaq. But I was like, the guy we need to get on our podcast is Jake. He's seen it all.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just gonna say the thing with like equipment guys when it comes to like players asking for stuff. At the end of the day, I think as long as the athlete is just cool with the equipment guy and like isn't like a huge pain in the ass, not in like being needy, but just be cool with us when we're gonna like we'll take care of you, we'll run through a wall for you, whatever you need.
Sure. No, because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen guys on other teams that are just like super high maintenance and they just kind of have like that. Not the arrogance, but just have like they just carry themselves a different way where they know that they're an NBA basketball player, so they're gonna act accordingly sometimes. So it's just like guys like that give me bad vibes. And the one thing I hate too is dirty guys. I do not like dirty guys.
Like messy?
Like messy, yes. Like guys move their fucking shoes around, jerseys off. Like it's fucking awful. Even now we have a really bad problem with like how fast guys go to get out of their jersey to get showered, to get on the bus. Because like it's so the one question I ask Jake and Sid every single time I walk into the arena is how long is this flight coming up? And depending on
make a t-shirt.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a t-shirt with T.Ross's silhouette and beneath it's gonna say, "Hey Sid, how long's the flight?"
Bro, that's the first thing I ask every time because that will let me know if I need to actually get on some of these younger dudes because like we have guys that sit in their entire uniform for up to 30 minutes after the game, just on their phone, shoes like still laced, and I fucking hate it.
If we're going city to city, like I'm more so like rushing the guys, not rushing, but like, hey, like let's go, come on, we gotta go. I'm with you, man. Like, but that's why you need a veteran voice like yourself in the locker room, kind of push these guys along.
Savvy vet.
But we have young guys, bro. We're completely outnumbered. And I mean outnumbered. Outnumbered. Like,
hey, how many years you got in the league now?
10.
That's all you gotta tell them.
I wish, bro. I wish. There's just too many of them. There's too many young boys on this team, and they just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. You don't have to say any names, but how many like have you had guys in obviously your career that are just like have really been a pain to work with that are just super like needy like that?
Maybe a few. Honestly, like kind of what Terrence said, like the one thing that drives him nuts, that drives me nuts is like guys who are just like messy and just leave stuff all over the gym. Like leaving basketballs on the like shooting a basketball, it bounces off the rim and goes to the other end of the court, and then they don't go and pick it up and put it back on the rack.
Like
that drives me nuts. Or just picking up after people. Like if you're at home, like do you just leave stuff all over your house, like stuff like that? Like, and on it, like I'll say something to the guy. I'm not gonna be like an ass about it, but I'll like.
Yeah,
man to man, like, hey man, like just be cool with me, like don't disrespect, don't disrespect the entire operation. There's more going on than whatever it is you're up to.
The three things I hate the most is when guys leave their shoe in the center of like the room.
Yep.
I hate it when guys leave showers on, and then I hate when guys leave their washcloths like hanging on shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Drives me fucking
there's a place for everything. There's a basket for the washcloths. There's a rack for the basketballs. Yeah. Credit Sid for that terminology. Honestly, I thought when we put up the partitions in the locker room for like COVID, I thought that was going to contain people's messes, but instead it just pushed the mess to the middle of the locker room.
Yeah. So like in our locker room, we have like stalls, pretty much. You're clear and
Yeah.
all the way through. And you get a little less space because everything's a little tighter. But now instead of things just being like in your immediate vicinity, like everything kind of, even me, like everything kind of gets pushed out into like the center where everybody is, and it's on. Like I trip over shoes every day, every fucking day. But
Terrence, I think you'd be a great equipment manager.
Bro, honestly, if it wasn't for the late nights and long days, I would not, because I'm always hanging out with you guys in there. I'm always time to kill. I'm probably in the equipment manager.
I think next road trip you need to hop in the truck when we land, and I think you need to help unload the plane, and then and then set up the locker room at the arena with me. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I will 100% help after the plane, but before shit, no.
I'm kidding.
I gotta.
Last thing I need you to do is I know you're like getting up there in age. I don't want you to lift the trunk and like tweak something and then you know what happens, Jacob. He gone.
No,
Orlando Magic
we'll put it on Cody. Cody's the assistant, and we'll just say Cody's around. We'll throw it on him.
All right, I got one more question. What is the craziest request you've gotten? Just like there's had to be something wild where some guys like I don't even know. Wait.
Jalen doesn't wear tights. Jalen wears his own underwear and shorts every game.
That's not a request.
What? That's not a request. That's just a crazy. That's just a crazy statement. But wait,
he's just Terrence just throwing people under the bus.
So Jalen, okay. I mean,
Jalen, I hope you hear this. Because this needs to stop.
He doesn't wear
PSD underwear.
Yeah,
like the underwear that I wear.
They're supportive.
I think it's just a comfort thing. Maybe it's probably better quality than like the Nike tights. Probably just softer.
I remember guys used to wear boxers and hoop. I'm like, bro, you're out of your mind.
There's a couple guys.
Yeah, Wes Wonder was a big boxer.
You're out of your mind.
There's a couple guys who wear like boxer material.
That's crazy
that I've had that'll do that.
Crazy to me.
Yeah, but, doesn't sound good.
Any crazy requests or like any situations that you've been in as equipment manager that you never thought you would like be in? I don't know, like someone shit their shorts or something. You're like, Jesus.
I'm not going to say.
Won't name names. Yeah, that has happened.
Wait, you've been a part of it, or you were there, Terrence?
I heard about it.
Okay,
so you were probably. I'm sure you were probably there. I'm sure you were definitely there. You were definitely there. So when this is still not the request story, whatever. But yeah, speaking on that subject, when you wear white uniforms and you wear white tights. You better take a shower. You better make sure you're clean. At the end of the day, like those tights, they're not forgiving.
They're not.
So yeah,
they're white tights and they stain almost immediately.
Okay, well,
that's
it. But I'm talking about someone actually.
They were not poop particles.
Yeah, I don't think I've had like that.
Yeah, like how they allegedly say Paul Pierce did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Paul Pierce had to take a shit and he was immobilized from the fucking turd moving through his fucking lower intestines. All the time, and he fucking felt what was happening. He was like, I'm hurt. And then he took a shit. He was like, I'm good. Give me the ball. But yes, trust me. I remember that day. What? Yeah, I'm not going to say what type of, I remember.
Yeah, don't even mention the year or day or when it was. But yeah, was there jokes to be cracked or what was going on?
Ooh, no. Crack jokes on this. We kept this. People know about it. A few people know about it. This is real hush hush. This is not something. That was starting a fight.
Yeah, you don't want to embarrass a guy past the point. So
you can't call a guy shitty. Like we're not gonna give him the name like shitty. So
there's a line to be drawn.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great.
Right down the poo line.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Jake, man.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate this, man. This is awesome to have you on, man.
I appreciate it.
We'll definitely have to chop it up again sometime. And
I think we were on here. Yeah, I think we were gonna do this when we were in the bubble. And didn't like AG borrow your microphone? He borrowed like your podcast equipment.
Yeah, I think he was making an album in his he was making music in his room.
That album never dropped.
Never. Maybe a song, but not the whole.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, he's trying to fight Russell Westbrook. So good for AG.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Thank you so
Always,
much.
man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. All right, guys.
morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the show, what a wonderful delight. Yeah, Patsy and T.Ross better chop up on the mic. Just sit back, have a laugh, catch a vibe, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.